Hello bearded bee people, welcome back to B&K Over the last few days we've been out and about in all of the other yards, checking to see, if our hives are swarm ready, and then also checking to see, what the mite counts are at, because this is a pivotal time in terms of the mite load and the battle against the mites, as this is one of the largest brooded periods of the year. These are the largest brood nests that we're going to have for this 12-month span. And so with a large brood nest comes a large possibility of mites getting out of hand very quickly, because as we all know, the mites propagate inside the brood cells just the same way the bees do. And so the more brood cells, the more opportunity for these mites to propagate, and so the more opportunity for what was, a relatively mild mite load to become something super serious super quickly. And so what happened today was I was breaking these boxes apart in this hive here and broke some drone brood apart and saw way too many mites. I think I saw 3 on one drone larva, and that is unacceptable. So what we're about to do now is mite wash. We're going to find out what the actual count is right now of phoretic mites, and then we're going to get ready to take action depending on what this tells us. Okay, so we're going to break down into the brood nest. We've already been inside this colony today, so they're probably not going to be super happy with me. Honey boxes are getting heavy, so that's good. Okay, find a central brood frame, because in my opinion that's going to show you the most accurate numbers. Then I'm going to check for the queen, because I'm about to shake these bees and drown some of them. Okay, so I do not see the queen. Let's get on to the meat of the situation. Okay, get yourself something flat or a bucket. I'm not actually measuring the half of a cup out, being a little bit more general than that, but generally you would like to get about 300 bees in this, and that is going to give you an easy number to figure out your percentages from. But if you've done a bunch of them, you can pretty much eyeball it, and of course, the more general you are, the more general you'll have to be in your reading of the mite load. And now, of course, this is rubbing alcohol and water, about 50-50. And I am going to shake them for a minute. And this is the Varroa Easy Check jar. More durable than the make it your DIY ones. And it's $20. Okay. And now I'm counting on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are at threshold, ladies and gentlemen. 6 mites, which was probably a little bit less than 300 bees. Okay, so I don't know if you are going to be able to see this at all, but I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm seeing more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're well over threshold here, unfortunately. Now, what that means, I don't know what the heck that is that's dripping off this camera. So what that means to me is that, first of all, this colony is not doing what I need them to be doing. They're definitely not breeder material. This goes down. They're going to get moved off to another yard and treated entirely differently. They no longer have what it takes to stay in this yard. I do not like to see this at any portion through the year, but if I were to let this go unaffected and undealt with, this colony would absolutely, without a doubt, die either between now and winter or very, very early on in the winter. So if we're talking about with 10 mites per 300 bees, you know, that's almost double the 2% threshold. So we have a 4 or 5% mite load now, and we've got a 3 to 1 increase that we can reasonably expect at this time of year for mites. So that mite load just gets so out of hand so quickly. And then we're going to talk about the dwindling of the bee population as we're nearing the summer solstice right now. The bees are going to start rearing less and less and less bees throughout the rest of the year. So we're at our peak population now, but it's only going to go down, and that mite load is only going to go up. And if it was left undealt with from now on, that is an absolutely certain death sentence. So please, please, please do yourself a favor, do your neighbors a favor, and do your bees a favor, and get out there and check your mite loads and be prepared to take action if it is out of hand, like it is in this particular hive right now. So what I am going to do is give them the emergency treatment of Mite Away Quick Strips. So it's not my favorite thing to do, but it is an excellent tool to have at your disposal. When you're dealing with the Mite Away Quick Strips, as I said in a video the other day, you have to be careful. It's not stuff that you just want to take lightly. We're talking about formic acid. This stuff will eat away at your skin, and it will eat away at your lungs. So be careful. And make sure that your bees have the full entrance width, all of the ventilation that they could possibly have or need. You won't see me with gloves too often on this channel, but you will absolutely see me with gloves when I'm messing around with formic acid. Okay, and now on a double deep, you want to break into the middle of the 2 brood nests. And for the soft treatment, we would be placing 1 strip in the center of the box against the grain of the frames. We're not doing the soft treatment this time. We go at opposite ends of the box, always against the grain of the frames. You don't want to direct any vapor down the avenue of one particular frame, because that'll supersize the dose in that particular area. So you want to spread it across all the frames as best you can. And the bees are not going to like it, folks. But you know what they're also not going to like is dying from a high mite load later on in this year. So this is absolutely for the betterment of the colony. Okay, now this is going to affect all of the mites inside the hive. It will affect the mites underneath the brood cappings. It will affect the mites that are on tops of bees, on the backs of bees. It will affect everything. It's a harsh chemical. It's a harsh chemical that's effective when used properly. As I've said in the past, though, be careful with it. It's dangerous stuff. It's dangerous for you. It's dangerous for your bees. Follow all the instructions. You do not want temperatures over 90 degrees within the first few days of treating. You don't want really super hot temperatures at all throughout the treatment. Always wear gloves. A respirator is a good idea as well. Yeah, and read those instructions twice. I mean, if you don't read them twice, man, you're not taking my advice seriously enough. This stuff is harsh, and this stuff can damage your bees, and it can damage your hands, and it can damage your lungs, but it is an effective tool, and it is very, very, very useful at this time of year when our hives have an incredible amount of brood that oxalic acid vapor just won't affect. So that's how I deal with it when it gets out of hand in the middle of the year. I wish I hadn't had to do that, because this will, to some extent, slow their production down. That queen is probably not going to lay a whole lot of eggs over the next few days, just because it's going to be a little bit chaotic in there. So I wish I hadn't had to do it. I wish nobody had to do it, but I did, and I love my bees, so I have to. So yeah, get out there and have some fun with your bees. Check your mite loads. Do yourself a favor. Do those bees a favor. Get that under control. Thank you very much for watching. See ya.